Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today I have a new stock for you guys. So this is a new stock that I've been buying a couple of weeks ago, and it is a UK stock and it's a UK growth stock. I know there's not many UK growth stocks out there, but I am buying this UK growth stock right now because I do think it's a pretty good opportunity. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button. If you're new around here, subscribe. Let's get started. So you guys on Patreon knew I was picking this stock up a couple of weeks ago. So that's why you need to be on Patreon, because you know what I'm doing in real time on there, and you get more detailed videos on there about these couple of stocks. And this actually came through the stock request that we run on the Discord. This stock was voted for on the Discord. It came through the stock request as members told me to have a look at it, and I thought actually this is actually a really interesting stock to take a look at. Now, I haven't had a growth stock in the UK portfolio for a while. The last one we had was Dark Trace, and that ended up really well for us in the end. A stock that we had 100% return on. I would have liked to keep that stock for the longer term, but hey, when you're making 100% in like a year and a half's time, I'll take that, and it did really well for us. But there's been a lack of growth stocks in the UK portfolio recently, and this was a really good addition to add into the portfolio. Now, like I said, this actually was a stock request by the members of the Discord, which was AudioBoom, and this actually came from a member of the Discord, which is called Crystal Balls, and he's been at me for a few weeks like, Jacob, check this stock out, look at all the insider buy-in, and I was like, wow, that is pretty good, and I ignored it for a little bit. And then what happened is we started having trading updates that were ahead of expectations, and I was like, hold on, we're getting a lot of trading updates that are ahead of expectations here, a lot of insider buy-in, this is a good catalyst going on, I need to take a look at this stock. And then I eventually did the stock request on AudioBoom, which is a lot longer on the Patreon. It's about half an hour long, and what I'll do today is I'll try to get that stock into about a 15-minute video for you guys, but if you want a bit more detail, then obviously go watch the video on the Patreon. So AudioBoom, like I said, I've been in this stock for a couple of weeks now, so I'm up around about 20% on my position. It's had a very good month this month, and I have been buying very aggressively into this position, so I'm about where I probably fully want to be in this position. As I saw the momentum building for these profit upgrades that were going on, I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy quite heavy on this, and I was buying and buying and buying. So realistically, I'm probably not going to buy any more AudioBoom now unless it has a big fall from here. So I'll make you aware of that one. The other thing I'll make you aware of, it is a smaller company. It's around about 61 million market cap. So just for liquidity issues, just be a little bit careful of that one anyway. So it's had a good time in the last month, but when you zoom out, it's a lot more different. The stock IPO'd a really long time ago, and it had a big boom during 2020 into 2021, into 2022. And what this company does, it is a platform that powers podcasting. So you can see here, AudioBoom is in the center. What they do is they have their creators on the platform. The creators on the platform are able to distribute that to the likes of the Spotify, YouTube, for example. And then what also AudioBoom does is then it links up the podcasters and the networks up to the advertisers. So then it gets all the advertising deals in for the podcasters and the creators. So it is a bit more, it's really an advertising platform, essentially, is the key thing that they have. And what happened is during 2020, we had so many people start podcasts. We had so many people had so much time listening to podcasts, and advertising was pretty strong during that time frame. So there was a big surge in the share price. Now, it's worth pointing out at the time is the share price was actually quite reflective of how the business was doing, because there was a surge in the profitability. They went up to 10% profit margin, making about 7 million a year. So there was actually a reason why it went up. It's because the profit did very well during that time frame. And then what happened is it's had a massive slump during that time frame. Now, there's a couple of reasons why it had a slump. The first thing is obviously because of the coronavirus boom. Not as many people were listening to podcasts as much. We had the advertising downturn, which, as you can see here, we had the ad recession that happened during 2023, and it has started to recover. There was also a change in the way that Apple do their iOS downloads. So you might notice this if you have an iPhone, is they automatically download the podcasts for you onto your phone. And what they did in a recent ISO update is that they no longer automatically download the podcast as well. And then there was also another change that happened to the company, which is the advanced creator payment methods that they made. So there's some concerns here that maybe Apple changes may one day affect this business. There's also the concern that the advertising market, if that was ever to get weaker, it would affect AudioBoom. The other thing that happened is they basically had the surge here in people listening to the podcast, and they went, you know what, we need to make sure all these content creators stick with us. So they did a automatic payment method. So basically, a lot of the creators got paid like £1 million, for example, and they would get automatic payments even if the views weren't great. Now the problem is these contracts lasted for about 3 years, so they're all kind of coming to an end now. But what happened is basically when we had the back to reality, back to normality, and people weren't listening to podcasts as much, they had a minimum payout fee. So whatever views these creators were getting, it didn't really matter. They were still getting paid what they agreed in the contract 2 years ago. So when all the views were dipping, they still got paid good money. So AudioBoom were running this as a loss. Now what has happened this year is the last payment of those contracts have come to an end as well. So that's also another thing that's kind of gone out of the way. They've made a bad decision, but it's okay. They're all out of the system now, and what they have to pay are these loss-making minimum paid contracts have all gone out of the way. And now the stock, the position, and the company are in a good place to thrive. And we are starting to see the root of that now, where the share price is starting to shoot up massively at the moment. The recent update as well was pretty good, as you can see here. But historically, the revenue growth has been very good with this business. 44% CAGR. The industry as a whole is expected to grow 22%, and they expect to be somewhere around the industry, and they reckon that by 2030 they could potentially be at 260 million, as you can see here, if they were able to grow 22%. Q3 results were very strong, up 34% versus Q3 2023. Obviously, remember, we were going through the Apple changes during then, and also we had the ad recession. We've massively bounced out of that since then. We've had a big increase in EBITDA. We had a loss in Q3 2023, and now it's gone up to 3 million. Gross margins are improving as well. And obviously, the last payment that we've had of the creator advance payments that were really hitting the business, because we were having to pay loss-making creators out there, which is coming to an end, and that will lead to profitability as well. Now, the big thing that I'm investing in this for is for one of the new platforms. They've launched a new platform. So I think they've currently got 3 platforms, I believe it is. So they've got Sonic, Showcase, and Premium. Now, the new one, Showcase, was launched in 2019. This is potentially what I believe will be that someone potentially could come acquire them for. So Showcase is a platform that AudioBoom have, and what they're able to do is they are allowing the creators to get better ads that suit them. So for example, if you had a car podcast and they were able to link that up to a Ford advertisement, so a lot better adverts that will have the results for the people that are using the adverts and the audience. They're able to link up this ad a lot better. They're allowing the ads to be created a lot quicker as well. And because everything is streamlined a lot better, these ads are coming more effective. So we have the creators getting more rewards from the advertising, and the advertisers are also getting quicker rewards. And because this platform is able to do it a lot quicker than the previous ones, the profitability and the gross margins on this platform is a lot better. And I feel like this is potentially that someone might look at and go, you know what, we like that Showcase platform, we're going to go get it. And what that has led to happen now is in Q3, the revenue for this part of the business was up 99%. So this is growing a lot faster than the other parts of the platform, which is great, because we look at the last quarter, it's up 34% this quarter. On the Showcase platform, it's up 99%. You've got a 68% pricing increase as well, and you've got an increase in impressions as well in this platform. And as you can see here, 2021, so this is after the first year, I would say, second year of when Showcase has been launched. You can see here it was around 11% of the business. Now, the revenue from Showcase is 31% of the business. So this is becoming a larger part of the business and is growing rapidly. Now, like I said, the other thing as well is because the gross margins are a lot better on Showcase, 31% gross margins compared to the other 2 platforms, which is 15 and 20% gross margins. AudioBoom can make more profit on this platform. So that's why we're seeing a revenue boom at the moment in Showcase, because in AudioBoom, because what they have now is they have this company that has this Showcase platform. So this is driving up growth rapidly because it's using the advertising network a lot better. Also, whatever we Showcase is because it's able to do things faster and link things up better, the profit they're making off this platform is better. So what we're going to have is as Showcase contributes more revenue and more profitability, this company is going to grow faster, and also it's going to throw more profitability to the bottom line, which is what you want to see. Now, what we're seeing now is, because it's really starting to scale up, is we're starting to see trading updates. So we had the Q3 reported, but then on the 15th of November, they had a profit ahead of expectations, because we've seen the advertising coming back and the showcase platform making up more of the platform of sales. That's increasing the profitability. So what we had is a upgrade from 2.5 million in EBITDA up to 2.8 million of EBITDA on the 15th of November. What we've had again is, once again, another profit upgrade on the 11th of December, where now we're seeing the profitability as well gone from 2.8 million up to 3.1 million in EBITDA as well, which is great. And as I look at someone like a Stockopedia at the moment, they've still currently got a EPS estimate of 14 pence EPS. By the current upgrades at the moment, I think Stockopedia are way behind the current upgrades. I think we could see the EPS on AudioBoom actually close around 19p, which at the moment you'd say is 34 forward times earnings. Well, if you start running on 19 pence and you look at the current share price of AudioBoom, all of a sudden the stock is getting quite close to 20 times earnings, 19 times earnings. And all of a sudden you're thinking, well, 19 times earnings for a company that is starting to really rapidly grow up their profitability and has the showcase growing like a weed, this is actually really good value. And then that's when you start looking at the financial health of the business, and you think, well, financial health wise, the business has no debt on there. The cash is a little bit slim at 3 million, but what we see at the moment is the profitability is going to really start ramping up. We're talking about where the profitability next year is going to be a lot higher. And as soon as these last payments are made out of the business, we're going to actually start having a lot of profitability going to the bottom line. So the balance sheet should be okay, because this company is 1 quarter away from generating serious amounts of profit. From the ownership point of view, like we said, we've had the chairman of the board who's pretty much been buying every fortnight load of shares, and you kind of see why now, because of the big profit upgrade that's kind of been going on. So I've run some numbers here of 10, 15, 20% revenue. Profit margin 3, 4, 5%. Now, this is the big thing with this company, is we don't actually know what profit margin they're going to get to as these upgrades start going on. That's the big thing that we have to see with them. We've got a 20 times earnings multiple in the business. I think if you're growing at these numbers and doing these profit margins, I think that's about fair. And on the low side, we've got 14% upside. On the mid side, 81% upside. On the high side, 169%, which is great. So I'm seeing really positive numbers here. Now, I think if AudioBoom, we're going to start doing these numbers, I actually think the business is probably going to trade more towards 25, 30 times earnings. So if I start putting in 30 times earnings on the business, you actually then start getting some really big upside if it does get that metric expansion as well. Really big upside, on the mid side 172%, on the high side 304%, which I think is quite realistically, for these kind of numbers here. I think that's a pretty fair valuation for them to be at 30 times earnings, and then you get some really nice upside. I think potentially with these profit margins, we actually don't know exactly what profit margins AudioBoom could achieve. I think realistically next year we are going to talk about AudioBoom probably sitting around the 3-4% profit margin. So as the company scales up and that showcase becomes more of the revenue contributor, I wonder if we could actually see AudioBoom actually push a lot higher to like the 7 or 8% profit margins. Now, if they do start pushing towards the 7 or 8% profit margins, wow, we are starting to talk about some really, really big upside there if they are able to do those numbers. But that's the big question, is can they get there? Like I said, if we do zoom back a little bit, during the coronavirus times, they were able to touch around about a 10% profit margin, as you can see here. Now, obviously that was when everybody was using podcasts. But the big thing is that if they are able to get back up to 7-8 million of revenue, which they should do very easy very soon, we see the more profitable part of the business. We see that showcase part of the platform start contributing more and more. We've already seen it go from 11% of the revenue contribution up to 31% of the contribution. Imagine when showcase gets to 50% of the revenue contribution and the profitability that they're able to do there. And let's not forget as well, H1 in 2024 was unprofitable because we were coming out of the ad recession, wherever I find the ad. Yeah, so we had the ad recession going on through the kind of the first part of the year. We had also the changes in the iOS 17. So the first half of the year was unprofitable this year. Second half of the year is probably not going to be unprofitable. So you imagine next year when we have the iOS changes out the way, you imagine when we've got the ad recession hopefully out of the way, and let's say that we do see the showcase part of the platform start pushing on to 50% of the revenue contribution for the business, which is the most profitable part of it. Could I see AudioBoom really starting to push up those profit margins? Yeah, I think so. You know, if we look at what they're already probably more than likely going to start doing this year, we're more than likely probably already around a 2 or 3% profit margin. I think if we start seeing Showcase start going up to 50% of the revenue, I do think we could be on about the profit margin starting to go a lot higher. And like I said, if we start talking about the profit margin starting to go a lot higher, and we talk about a 5% profit margin growing at 20% or even 15% a year, I think there's really nice upside in this business. So yeah, I think AudioBoom is a very tempting UK growth stock right now. And like I said, the catalysts are all there. They're very clear to see. We've just seen 2 major profit upgrades for them. And you look at the showcase part of the platform, it's going to create good profit generation for them. And you think next year, them 1 million creator payments are out the way, the ad recession's out the way. It looks like it could have a really good year next year where the profitability, we've already seen 2 profit upgrades this year. Imagine when they have a full year of not having to do the ad recession or the creator payments, and the first half of the year is profitable. They should generate really good amounts of profitability. And yeah, it looks to me like a very interesting stock, and that's why I bought some anyway. So that's the new UK stock I've been buying, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you do want a more detailed view of this company, then you can go check the video out on the Patreon. Apart from that, have a great weekend. I might see you on Sunday, I might see you on Monday, I don't know yet, we'll see what happens. But then I'm probably going to slow the videos down a little bit over the Christmas period, so you probably won't see as many from me during that time period. But yeah, I'll probably try to get a few to you during that time frame, but not as much anyway. Have a great weekend, guys. See you in a bit.